We are up to Perek Hey Mishnah Zayin. This is a very interesting Mishnah. I mean, they're all interesting Mishnahs. This one as well. It says the Mishnah like this: Shiva Dvarim B'Goyim v'Shiva B'Chacham. Right, so there are 7 things we're going to see. 7, I guess we call characteristics of a Goyim, and 7 characteristics of a Chacham. So what's a Goyim? So Rashi and Rabbeinu, they both bring a pasuk in Tehillim. Galmei Ro Einecha. It's a pasuk in Kuf Lamed Tes in Tehillim. So Rabbeinu says, "Kol darish in suras ligmeris nikagoyim." Anything, any vessel that it's not fully formed, it's called a goyim. So the golmei kli matchis not makabel tumah. If a kli is not finished off, it could be functional to some extent, but it's not finished off. It's called a goyim. So it says Rabbeinu, what's a goyim? A goyim is someone who understands what he's taught, but he doesn't know how to, the lashon is how to make a svara on his own. So he can't really take what he's taught and really understand it and then apply it to a situation that's slightly different from the one that he was told it in the context of. So he understands what he's being told, but then he doesn't really apply it well. She'en chachmas and he carries. He can't really, we don't observe his chachma. And the following 7 things, he doesn't know. We'll see, these are all, I don't think, it could be some of them are social cues. A certain, he's lacking in his abilities socially. And then there's certain things that are relevant to the chachma. She says, Shebehen me'inyan chachma u'mehen mimidos. So the truth is, the Rabbeinu says explicitly, some of these things he lacks in chachma, and some of them are lackings in midos. And midos would be social cues, I think. And that's what Rabbeinu Sadi explains as well. So what are the 7 things that you can tell if a person is a chacham or he's a goyim? It says the Mishnah, chacham einu medaber b'fnei mishu gadol mimenu b'chachma u'b'minyan. A chacham does not speak in front of a person who is greater than he. So the Mishnah says b'chachma u'b'minyan. So that term is used in Mishnah Adius in the context of when you have 2 batei din. So what are the rules? If one bezdin paskin one way in a previous generation, or even that same generation, another bezdin wants to overturn that psak. So when can they and when can't they? So one of the rules is it has to be gadol b'chachma u'b'minyan. So it has to be bigger tamidei chachamim. Minyan can mean a larger bezdin. There's different numbers of dayanim on a bezdin. It's also used in psak halacha, where in our case here, we're not referring to a bezdin. So what does it mean that a person's gadol b'minyan, with the amount of people? So some Mefarshim say it means who has more talmidim, who has more students. So a person is greater chacham than I am. A person has more students than I have. So I'm not going to speak in his presence. So that means you have to be silent and elaim. You can't say a word. So the Rabbeinu says, he listens, he's quiet, and he learns. And that's chachma. Mash'en came begoyim as opposed to the goyim. A goyim is someone, he's not so interested in learning from this sage. He just wants everybody to know what he's thinking. There's a previous Mishnah that was similar to this. So the chacham realizes that I'm in the presence of this gadol. Let me just be quiet and listen. I have no need to show him that I know. I have no need to show him that I thought about that and this is my take on it. I'm not trying to impress him. My goal is just to learn from him. And he's a person that has more chachma than I have. So I'm just going to be quiet and listen. That's the difference between a goyim and a chacham. So Rabbi Schreck always says that in yeshiva, when a person's in yeshiva, so he's in the stage where he's learning chachma. And he always points out that the talmidim of Reb Chaim Soloveitchik, the main talmidim, arguably, was the brisker of his son, Rav Baruch Ber, Pirkei Shmuel, Shimon Shkop, the Shari Yosher, and Rabbi Chanan Wasserman, Hashem Yikum Damad. Those 4, like the talmidim of Reb Chaim Soloveitchik in Volozhin. And they all have, I could say, probably drastically different mahalchim and limud. Very different ways of learning. Rav Baruch Ber is one way, he takes a word from Reb Chaim, and he'll turn like 3 shtiklach based on that one nuance Reb Chaim said. And Reb Shimon Shkop is much more philosophical in his learning. In the Sefer Shari Yoshiri, he attacks these like very difficult topics, like Sveika and Rabbi Chazaka, and he very philosophical type of approach to learning. Abba Chanan is also very lumdish. Brisrav is a Brisrav. They're all very different. So the Rosh Yeshiva always says that in yeshiva, when they were in Volozhin learning from Reb Chaim, you couldn't tell them apart. They were the same. At that stage, they were soaking up the Toiras Reb Chaim Soloveitchik, and that was their goal. Of course, they had their ideas, and I think this is Pshat and Tosfos. I think this is Pshat and the Rambam. But they're not in yeshiva. The point of a bacher in yeshiva is not to say over a shtickle Torah. The point of a bacher in yeshiva is to soak in the Torah of the Rebbe, to understand how the Rebbe would think. And then when they finish their tenure in yeshiva, then each one blazed their own trail, their own derech halimud, all on some level coming from Reb Chaim. But my Rosh Yeshiva used to always be upset. He used to always, depends on who the person was asking the question or trying to give the answer, he would speak to them in a very strong way. It's like he's not interested in your teretz to Tosfos. I mean, Rosh Yeshiva's job is not to tell you he said good and that was a good teretz, and his job is to say over from the Rav, from the Brisker Rav. And if you have a kasha on that, if you don't understand something, you have a kasha, fine. But just to say that, oh, I think you can answer like this, that's not the goal of the Rosh Yeshiva. That's not the goal of the Yeshiva Bacher. It's a waste of time. When a person's in Yeshiva, he's learning the Chacham. He has to realize he's in a place that's Gadol Mimenu b'Chacham V'Minyan. So it's the Goylim who's going to try to impress. And the Rosh Yeshiva is more impressed by a person who asks a kasha to the point and understands what the Torah that's being taught. So that's the first difference between a Goylim and a Chacham. Number two, ve'enoi nichnas l'soich divrei chaveira. So this is more etiquette, and it's also probably the same nakuda that a person who often, if there's less confidence, self-confidence that the person himself has, so he's going to try to talk, right? So the big Rosh Yeshiva comes through town, he's giving a shiur klali, and you're going to ask a kasha, you're trying to give a teretz. A person who doesn't have that self-confidence is going to do that. Here also, a chacham is not nichnas l'torach divrei chaver. He doesn't cut his friend off. If someone is talking, so I wait for them to finish their point. The only time that's difficult, and it's lav dafka chesan chachma, is if let's say you feel that the guy's not understanding you. You ask the question, and he's going off on the whole thing, and he missed the boat. So you have to listen to a 10-minute drush from this person when you weren't clear in explaining oneself. That's the only time I'm worried when I'm thinking about it, to cut someone off, when I feel that either they're never going to end, some people just never end, they keep talking, and other people, if they miss something and I can correct them, I'll try to do that. I'm not sure if that's consistent or not with this Mishnah. This Mishnah says that a chacham does not cut a person off. Says the Rabbeinu Yona, he lets the person talk until he finishes his words, and then he answers. So really the truth is, I'm wrong. A person should have patience, just sit and wait. He's not going to go on forever. So a person should sit and wait until he's finished, maybe take notes and whatever, and then answer. This is a good character trait. That's not what a goylem does. He is already answering before he hears. It's also a concept of understanding the other side. That's not just, I'm trying to convince you I'm right. No, I want to hear what you have to say, and I'll respond to what you have to say. This is Dayan Heimlich, when I've spoken from Melbourne, Australia, and I was in Manchester. So he dabbled in Choshen Mishpat a little bit, a few times. And then after a few experiences, he felt that no one really cares what he has to say. They just want to, each person is trying to show the right. And each Dayan, especially when they came to him as a Kasav HaShlishi. In the context of Bezdin, it's a little bit different. But when they would come to him, like whatever you say we're going to listen to, that wasn't true. He just felt that in his experience, each one, he was another person they can try to convince that they're right. But they weren't interested in what he had to say be'etzim. That's a goylem. A goylem, doesn't recognize that this person is gadol, the chacham minyan, and he just tries to prove his point. The same nakud over here, he cuts someone off.
Just to clarify, we're saying goylem as an adjective, as opposed, not like the Maral's Goylem, or the.
Yeah, very good, very good. So it's not like the Maral. The Maral's Goylem, it's the same concept. In other words, that Goylem is not, he's not farting, he's not finished off. He just, he does what he's told. But here, I think the Rambam, which we have to see the Rambam, because this Pirush on Pirush Mishnah here is unbelievable. He goes through Bur, Ama'aretz, Goylem, Chacham, and Chassid. There are 5 levels of intellectual maturity, we'll call it, that people can have. By Goylem, he says, a Goylem is someone who has good midas, he has the Milas HaMidas, he has Milas HaChachma, but it's not finished off. His Lashon is Einam Shleimus, B'lehochas al Seder Karoi. So he has, we call it Chatzitam Chacham. Like, he has Chachma, but it's not Shalim. There's Irbuvia and Bilbulim. There's a lot of confusion. So the Goylem, he understands what he's being taught, but he can't fully process it and apply it properly. So a Goylem it's really a noun. A Chacham, this person is a Chacham. This person is an Am Ha'aretz. This person is a Bor. This person is a Goylem. A Goylem is a certain stage of understanding. Often you'll find it when Bachim start learning in yeshiva and they don't have the methodology down yet, they're very quick. They'll ask a kasha and then they'll realize right away that they're making a mistake. Oh, no. They're very jumpy. Akasha, no, they're not miyushav and you have to think. Another in my yeshiva, there was a bacher who's a very quick head, very quick mind. And the Rosh Yeshiva said something, and this bacher, mamish, as soon as he finished saying what he was saying, the bacher attacked with a kasha. The Rosh Yeshiva just looked down, and he didn't say anything. And he started going weiter. And again, the bacher asked his kasha. So she looked at him and said, Shrach the minut. Meaning, he didn't think for a second. He didn't want to even handle this bacher. It was too quick. The kasha was too quick. There's no way he could have had time to think about it. That's a goylem. He just wants to get it out, the kasha. The Chiddush was said, you have to, a little bit, turn it over in your mind. If you have a kasha right away, there's a chance that it's not, that one didn't understand what was being said. So to answer your question, Will, a goylem is a noun. It's a person whose chacham is not finished off, so he's very impulsive and very quick in trying to prove himself that he's correct. So that's number 2. Okay, that's the goylem. Okay, so number 1 is he talks in front of a chacham when he should be listening, and number 2 is he's nichnas l'tech divrei chaver. Number 3, ve'eino nivo lahashav. A chacham, and this mamish plays into this previous mindset that we just discussed. A chacham is not nivhal lahashav. He doesn't feel a need to answer right away. So nivhal bibahala means a quick response. He doesn't feel the need to have a quick response. She'eino memaher lahashav, says Rabbeinu Yona, ma'ane ki yish'aluhu ad sheyishma kol hatainis. Which really is the first mission in Pirkei Avos, having misunim bedin. He's not quick to answer. He lets the person finish. He actually asks questions to clarify. He's not, again, the goylem just wants to answer the question, show that he's smart. The chacham wants to understand exactly all the details and then think before he responds. He listens however long they want to be ma'arif in their question. He listens, and he's going to think about it, and he's not, his heart and his mouth are not going to quickly answer until it's clear that he understands the question, and he's clear that he understands what he's going to say. With this, his answer is going to be correct. Sometimes when people ask shaylas, so sometimes a person feels the response that he gets, it's like you push a button, you go to one of these vending machines, right? You push A6, the water comes out. B5, you get the pretzels. So sometimes when you ask a question to someone, I've had this, I've asked questions of certain people, and the response is as soon as I finish my question, they press the button and the response comes out. So it could be that when a person has a lot of experience, they kind of know where things are going. They've seen this question before. There are some questions that are, repetitive, they're basic ones. That being said, a chacham, each time a person asks a question, he'll listen, let the person talk, which also is therapeutic, let the person talk. And he'll only answer when he fully understands the question, and then he'll give the proper answer. So I guess I'm seeing a theme over here. The theme seems to be like patience. I mean, a chacham who he knows that what he's going to say is going to be worthwhile. He's aware that his mind works well. He's just patient to gather all the information and then to give an answer in the right time. So we'll hold here. It's 9:30. We'll hold here with the first three. Bez Hashem, next week we'll do the next four, and we'll go through the Rambam and the Pirkei Mishnayos.
Thank you, Rabbi. We're just staying on, or you're just